All right, welcome back, everybody, for another episode of Hidden Gems. This is the video series where I talk about those forgotten about, undervalued, underappreciated types of books that are still probably tucked away in those boxes at your LCS. They're not the books on the hot 10 list, they're not up on the wall. These are, like I said, just fun little things and fun little nuggets you can go hopefully and dig out of that box for cheap that I find interesting personally. Hopefully you're still enjoying this series as well as everything else on the channel. Please keep telling your friends so we can keep growing the channel. Like, subscribe, hit the alert button so you don't miss anything. I might be restacking the schedule as I just finished filming my Wednesday watch list, which I think you guys have been enjoying, both for members getting it first and then everybody else watching it after. That might be my Monday show going forward, and maybe I stop double stacking these because it's getting hard to keep up. Just be honest, I keep falling behind. So maybe not do two recorded shows on Mondays. So maybe I start rotating in Hidden Gems and Chasing Ghosts together on Tuesdays. I don't know. Things I'm thinking about to kind of restack the schedule as we get into the summer, because as the summer's going, there's a lot going on. Football practice to take my son to. We got plans and vacations, etc., coming up. It's just hard. It's hard to maintain. I know. I'm trying to keep the content. I want to make sure the quality of the content is still up to snuff, because I've been making a lot of mistakes lately and I'm not liking it as I sit down to film, and I don't want to edit it out because it's just don't have the time. But with all that said, you guys let me know what you think in the comments section. Do you really want, make sure you're still getting one of each week, or you'll be fine with a little bit of a lighter load and getting just either a Hidden Gems or a Chasing Ghosts on Tuesdays, and you're fine with the back and forth nature of it? Like I said, let me know. I'll do my best to meet what you guys want, because I do this as much for you as I do for myself, just to get these ideas and comic thoughts out of my head, and this is a good place to do so. With that all said, enough about my complaints about my workload. If you want to see what books I got for you this week, because I do have an interesting pile of books, just hang on for a few seconds after the intro, and I will be right back. Okay, so for this week, I didn't want to do like a theme like I did for 4th of July with Captain America. I mean, I did a little bit because we do have Mission Impossible coming out this week, and I'm looking forward to the new Mission Impossible movie. I am a fan. But we're just going to touch on it a little bit, and we're going to start off by touching it with this oddity section. So I believe I talked about this book before. You guys have probably already heard about this book before, but it still felt like a good place to put this for this week, and that is the Marvel Mission Impossible comic that came out in, what was it, 1996, I think. Interesting story behind this one. There is an unedited version that did make its way out there, and it's pretty tough to find. Now, there's a direct edition that's really tough to find with the unedited nature of it, because they made changes to the book inside, which I'm going to get to in a second. They made changes to the book inside based off of some feedback from Tom Cruise. I think they thought that they had not published any, but on the UK side of things, I think all of the newsstands were already printed with the old stuff. So when you do see the error editions, a lot of them will have the newsstand logo on it, because those are the bulk of what got out before they got the changes updated in the book. So that's a fun little tidbit to know as well. So I know you guys like to pay a premium for newsstands, but in this case, I think the direct of the error is harder to find than the newsstand version of the error edition. But most of the time, you're just going to find the regular edited version. But what is the edit? Let me tell you. It's pretty stupid. It's inside. It's in the guts of the book, so you can't tell by looking at the cover. You got to open this thing up and look inside. Page 3, I believe it is. This is the unedited version. I grabbed this from recalledcomics.com. Very useful resource for you guys out there. If you're into that kind of thing, go take a look. Very helpful. So I like to credit where I get information from, and that's where this came from. So shout out to Recalled Comics. But this is what Tom Cruise had a problem with, because he thought these two panels made Ethan Hunt look a little too feminine. Okay, I guess maybe how he's standing. I don't know. Like, really? That's your problem? But whatever. So he had a problem with it. Not only the way he's standing in the middle, but apparently he didn't like the eyebrow look on the other panel there either. So he had them changed. And here is the edited version where we get rid of the goofy stance, change how the word bubbles are to kind of cover that empty space now because it doesn't make a lot of sense who's Ponytail talking to. And then he has a more determined and more angered look in those eyebrows now. Yeah, I'm going to go back and forth so you can see this. Unedited, edited. That's what he wanted. Apparently too feminine, more manly. Whatever. So there's your differences between these two. And that's what you're looking for when you open this thing up. You're looking for missing Tom Cruise. That's the easiest way to identify it. It's page 3. You're looking for him not being there. Anyway, what does this book do if you can find one out there? Well, anywhere from $25 to $70 raw. There are graded copies, yes, but raw copies, again, they vary. The prices, they seem to go up and down. There's no real rhyme or reason. Condition sensitive, obviously, but it's not like you're just going to be buying any beat up copy of this. But yeah, prices kind of vary, even with the asking prices. Look, there's copies as cheap as $13. That's one of the newsies. You can see the barcode is more prominent. $50, 219 for a 9.6, and then $100 for a raw there. But I think that $100 one down below is the direct edition. But these were all, like I said, edited, recalled versions or whatever. So just a fun little tidbit. And with Mission Impossible coming out this week, I thought it would be fun to talk about that book. That's not all I got for you for Mission Impossible. I got one more book that kind of actually is what spawned this idea. It's like, I'm going to talk about Mission Impossible this week. I'm like, no, there's not enough. Nor do I want to make a whole theme show. But I did want to talk about this book from the My Nostalgia Picks section. We're going to do actually a nice bulk of this show based off of this show. And the show that I'm talking about, it's a cartoon that got a lot of love over on SNS when they do their Cartoon Wars. We had you guys all voting. Pinky and the Brain. So, Pinky and the Brain, here you go. Pretty awesome Mission Impossible homage here on issue, what issue is this? 8. Issue 8. Mission Impinkable. Pretty fun. There's a lot of really cool covers on this run, and we're going to cover a bunch of them right now. I'm not going to cover all of them. It's 27 issues in the entire run. I'd grab any of them, honestly, if they're cheap enough. If you're digging like $1 boxes, $2 boxes, I'd grab any of them because it's not only is it just fun little comics if you're into that kind of thing, but there's a lot of really cool covers here with callbacks to movies and comics, etc. So here's Mission Impossible, and this is actually what got me thinking of doing Mission Impossible for this week, apart from the movie coming out, obviously, was this comic. So this one, again, this is kind of the price you'll see for a lot of these. It's like $9. It's like $10. It's not a super duper. You're not going to get rich by finding these. That's why I'm saying you find it cheap enough, it's worth grabbing, in my opinion. Asking prices on this thing anywhere from $5 to $15. Condition sensitive. These are kids' books after all, so they might be pretty banged up. They might have a lot of spine ticks on them because they were stored on one of the spinner racks that a lot of shops put their kids' books, their Archie books, their WB kids things like this on them. So they get overfilled. Books start hanging and bending. A lot of spine ticks usually on these things. Also, don't go paying premiums for newsstands on these either, because realistically the newsstands are going to be easier to find than the direct market editions, because these types of comics were sold more in bookstores like your Barnes and Nobles, your newsstands, etc. Like even in your 7-Elevens, or if your supermarket sold comics, wherever newsstands were still being sold, the kids' books were still very popular on the newsstands. Still very popular in the newsstands, more so than the direct market comic book shops weren't really catering to the kids. So realistically, there's probably more newsstands for these kids' books than there are directs. So don't go. I'm not saying that you pay more for directs than newsstands. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying be mindful of paying a premium for things that you might normally do with the newsstands. Because apart from the chart you can check for time frames of what was published more, I'm just saying in this little corner, this little niche of collecting, I would think just logic would dictate to me that there's going to be more newsstands than directs for kids' books. Does it make sense? I think so. At least it makes sense to me. But just throwing that out there for you to consider. But we got a ton of cool books to talk about here. Again, I liked Pinky and the Brain, so maybe I'm going to be pontificating to myself. I don't know. But my nostalgia, this is why we have this in my nostalgia section. So, Terminator. We hit up the Terminator with the Verminator on issue 3 pretty early on. This is actually from the comic cover. See there? Hunters and Killers #1. Pretty cool. 1-for-1 match there. So the Verminator for Pinky the Brain. This thing does all right. 15, $10. Find it in lots. A lot of these you can find in lots too. Up to $30. Asking prices anywhere from like $6 to $15. So once again, you're not gonna get rich, but it's kind of fun little nugget to find if you can get it for like $1 or $2. We do have a follow-up. I'm gonna do this one. This is many issues later, issue 16. We get Pinky's version of this too. So they actually double dipped on this cover homage here. So now we get Verminator 2 with we had the brain on the first one. Now we get Pinky's version. You'll see, as I had in the last one, you'll see sometimes you can put these in sets. What was it, like $5 one sold for, and best offer $9. So it's pretty cheap. 12 to $20 though are the asks on this one right now. So again, it's all relative. Just because it's asking $20 doesn't mean it's worth 20, but it's worth paying attention to, and it's worth knowing the asking prices as well as the recent sales. And hopefully you can find yourself somewhere there in the middle. If you find one of these at a shop for next to nothing and you want to go and flip it to make a couple of bucks, you might be able to. That's all I'm saying. I don't know why the next one grabbed me, but it did, because I wanted to figure out what it was, and it took me a minute, but then I eventually thought, hey, why I didn't read Brainlet? I just should have read the cover and saw the Hamlet text down below, but it took me a while to figure it out on my own that it was Hamlet before. I just should have read the damn thing, because I don't really remember the Mel Gibson Hamlet movie all that well. It wasn't really my thing. Not a Shakespeare guy, but it was solid. But here you go, Brainlet, Hamlet. This is issue 14 of the series. Like I said, 27 total. This is issue 14. Is $2 to $10. This is sold for. So once again, not gonna make you rich. Asking prices anywhere from $3 up to 13. Once again, that seems to be the range. Condition sensitive, obviously. More popular, probably, homage here with Men in Black. You have Men in Pink, Mice in Pink, I'm sorry. So there you go. Pretty cool, right? If you like Men in Black, Pinky the Brain, this is also timely. At the time, like, this was very popular. Men in Black used to be a really big deal back in the day. This book, again, $5. There's a set that is sold with another one we'll get to in a minute. $50. Because once again, you can see lots, partial lots, a couple of books thrown together, can do all right. $3 to $12 once again seems to be the asking prices on these. Granted, more are on the higher end, more in the $10 to $12 range than the $3 range, but they're out there. There's still cheap copies out there. That's why I put those in there so you can see. I mentioned this on the Wednesday watch list that we were getting a couple of Shark homages because tis the season, summertime. Shark Fest is going on right now. Shark Week is coming. So we got to have a Jaws homage, right? So here we go. Issue 23, I think. Jaws homage here. Pretty fun, right? This one does okay. Like I said, it's found in that one lot. The two of them for $50. Best offer on $25. Accepted. I didn't go and dig for the prices accepted, but you get the idea. Asking prices on this one are close to 25 to 30. Could be because of the Shark Week thing right now. Maybe it's on an uptick, the little higher asking prices. I don't know, but it's out there. Just to kind of be mindful of that. So if you find this one, maybe now's the time. Vanity Fair. This used to be a big deal too. Yes, we saw She-Hulk do this one as well. This is that Vanity Fair Demi Moore cover. So this time we got Pinky doing it. No, he's not pregnant. He's just eating a lot of cheese. But that's the obvious homage that we're dealing with here. And again, we had the beach ball for She-Hulk on her run doing this as well. But this is the WV Pinky and the Brain version of it. And this is the second to last issue, I think. This is issue 26, I want to say. It's right near the end. Let me double check it here with the prices. But yeah, issue 26. 10 to 20 bucks, really? It's kind of what it's selling for. Also, it's kind of near the end of the print run. So it gets that little bit of a bump. Yeah, 10 to 25, $30 even. Some of the asking prices. There's 2 issues there. Asking for 25 bucks. So just something to pay attention to. Jumping backwards into the numbering. Again, I didn't do these in order, if you've noticed. Kind of jumped all over the place to kind of fit the story we're telling. We do got a Batman and Robin. This wasn't an actual image that I could nail down. I thought it was like some Batman animated series poster or something. Couldn't nail down the image exactly, but you get it. It's Batman and Robin, and it's from the animated series. So that's what we're going with this homage. And this is issue What number is this? I can't read the number. It's kind of blurry on my screen, but we'll bring it up here. I think it's also near the end. This is issue 25. So also right near the end, about 25 bucks. So this one does all right, pretty consistently selling right around that $25 mark range. Asking prices 20 to 25 kind of. So not too bad if you could find this one out there in a box. It's a kid's book after all. Go dig in that box that's just over in the corner at your LCS that nobody likes to go into. Like, kids, we don't got kids coming in here. This is, 40-year-old men, the only people who hit our comic book shops. We gotta breed a new generation of collectors is all I'm kind of getting at. We do need to get kids involved so we can still get our comic books once we get older. Otherwise, I don't know who's going to carry the torch on this. But that said, we do have one more issue. So hitting up the final issue of the series, issue 27. It came from Acme Labs. This is kind of like a classic kind of horror kind of thing. It reminded me a little bit of that, was it Creep Show or Tales of Twilight Zone, maybe? One with the kid who had all the powers, and then he had the monster, and it came out of the... Anyway, I'm not exactly sure the exact homage, but it is a familiar kind of vibe that you get from it. If you guys know what the homage exactly is, please share it. I'd love to know. I tried to figure it out. It's like a one-for-one exact, but I kind of got the vibe of what it was from. But this is the final issue. It does okay. Not as much as I would have thought for a final issue. Around like 10 bucks. It's all it's been selling for. And there are copies asking around 25. So here we do have a bit of a difference of what sells versus what's being asked for. But it is still one of those last issues to know, which we will get back to very soon. I'm going to have another last to know coming up for Hidden Gems pretty soon because it's been a while. It's been a few weeks. So with that, I only got a couple more books to talk about this week. I told you if you saw the IG post, this is going to be Pinky and the Brain heavy. So we did do a lot of Pinky and the Brain books, but I do have a couple of variants that I want to talk about that have nothing to do with Pinky and the Brain. We're going over to the X-Men universe, specifically 2010 X-Men. So, issue 7 of the 2010 X-Men. Pretty awesome Terry Dodson cover here. This is the premiere edition. I believe this was a one per store that was given out. The difference between this, because it's the same cover art as the regular issue, is that trade dress. This premiere edition, apart from it saying premiere edition in the little box there where the number is, it has the old school trade dress. So that's another quick way for you to identify it. Now, the regular issue doesn't sell from really anything. Nothing. So that's why I'm telling you, I'm pointing this out. So maybe you find this mixed in. None have sold even recently on the market, but the asking prices for this book are $55, $70, $80. Again, it was one per store. Gets kind of missed and forgotten about. So this is something when you're digging, keep an eye out for. That's all I'm saying. Keep an eye out for it. And while you're in that section, and while you're in that time frame, if you find like this run of X-Men books, also look for those lower incentives, these 1 in 15. So that's what we're going to get into next. So that's issue 7. With issue number 7, also had a 1 in 15. Has this kind of a Sergeant Pepper's kind of thing going here with the whole flowers and all that stuff. Yeah, pretty fun, right? 1 in 15. None sold. You're going to see that's a popular theme here. None of these have sold recently because nobody's talking about these books. Nobody's buying them. I'm not saying they should be. This is forgotten about, undervalued, underappreciated. This is why I'm telling you go dig, because this is the kind of stuff that gets forgotten about that you might be able to scoop up because nobody knows what they're looking at. So if you know what you're looking at, you know you're looking at a 1 in 15 here. So the asking price, again, it's not very high. It's still 20 to 30. So it's above that 1 in 15 ratio. So it's well worth knowing. And like I said, you maybe find it for cover or less, because they think it's just the regular edition or just a regular B variant, but it's not. It's a 1 in 15. That's also why I'm telling you these things. Much like the next couple of issues are going to be this Chris Bacalo 1 in 15 issues that he has as well. Pretty awesome Wolverine here. I dig it. This is for issue 8. Once again, none have actually sold recently. Asking prices, only found one. Only found one, and it wanted $20, which is not a lot, but there's only one. So these could be a little tough. Like I said, people might not know what they are or what they're out there. They just think it's a B variant or something, not knowing it's an incentive. Issue 9 had a similar deal, but because it had 2. There are 2 1 in 15s. There's a Captain America 70th anniversary 1 in 15, and then we got the Bacalo X-Men one here, which I kind of like the weird empty space layout here where they're above the trade dress. I don't know. Usually I don't like empty space, but it works for some reason on this one. once again, none sold recently. And as far as listing prices, only 10 to 20, and they were only the two. So I couldn't find a lot of these. I figured I would find a lot more and they would be right around that ratio mark. And just, again, just trying to remind you to look for a ratio that might just be in with the regular books. That's kind of the idea of what this is. But that is issue 9. One more to finish us up for this week. Issue 10 also had a double shot 1 in 15 ratio set. So either you get the Thor goes to the movies, or you got the Saturday Night Fever, Lady Sif, and what's his name? Nah, can't think of his name. Ray Stevenson played him in the Thor movies. Anyway, you got that one, but then you also got the Bacalo, Spidey, Gambit, zombies. Pretty creepy, pretty awesome. Once again, it's a 1 in 15, so keep an eye out for it. None sold, but asking prices kind of 15 to 20, so right around that ratio mark, a little above again, but I only found a couple. So definitely not a lot of these out there, but just something to know, something to go dig for, something to go look for. So that's all I got for you this week. Starting to lose my voice. Sitting here recording on this Monday afternoon. I'm going to try to get this out for Monday night as well after I get the Wednesday watch list edited out for you guys. But thanks for stopping by and checking this out. I appreciate you all, and I'll have more content coming your way pretty soon. Make sure you watch the tax show this Wednesday, even though I won't be on it. But Dub and Marco will carry the load. Still got plenty of stuff coming your way here on the channel. So new content every day, and I'll be back with more of it very soon. All right, later.